As the Big Ten and the SEC continue to try to push their weight around when it comes to the college football playoff expansion, could them pushing their weight around actually end up benefiting the Big 12 and maybe even the ACC in the long run? That's what we're going to talk about in today's episode of Couz's Corner. We're going to look at an article by Ross Dellinger, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on this situation right after this word from one of our sponsors. Since 1931, the attorneys at Katz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner have been the voice for victims who have suffered serious injury or death. They have a fierce passion for truth and justice and a sincere compassion for those who have been wronged by others. Whether you have been in a car accident, are fighting with an insurance company, or you or a loved one has suffered serious injury or death due to medical negligence, we will ensure your voice is heard loud and clear. Katz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner will ensure there is justice for all West Virginians because we are your lawyer, your voice. Visit us at yourlawyeryourvoice.com. What is up, and welcome into this episode of Couz's Corner, your home for top shelf college sports news and analysis around the West Virginia Mountaineers and the Big 12. We all have heard about the college football playoff likely going from 12 to 14 teams. Well, now it looks like they're skipping 14 and going straight to 16 teams in 2026, which, to be honest, I think is the right move, and I think it makes more sense from a numbers standpoint, from a bias standpoint, the whole bit. But that's not where the disagreements are lying right now. That's not where the contention is among the leaders, primarily the conferences in college football. Where the disagreements lie are around how many automatic qualifiers make it into the college football playoff. And the SEC and Big Ten continue to try to push their weight around and get more AQs for themselves. And that's causing some pushback. They're getting pushback not only reportedly from the ACC and the Big 12, but even from some politicians at the federal level. Let's go ahead and talk about that. And we're going to look at an article, or I'm going to read a little bit of this article from Ross Dellinger and also hit some highlights from it. But the first part of the article talks about, and I'll leave a link to this article, by the way, but a congressman in Washington, D.C. put out a tweet on Monday that said the next time, and his name was Brendan Boyle, says the next time the Big Ten or SEC wants to meet with me about NIL, they need to be prepared to first explain to me how they justify trying to rig the CFP. And he ended it with hashtag greed. So you now have federal politicians getting sick and tired of the SEC and Big Ten trying to throw their weight around. Now, I'm not sure where this congressman is from. I didn't dig into that enough. Let me know in the comments who it is, what state he represents. I'm sure he probably is representing a team who's likely end up not in the Power 2, I would assume. But that being said, he's not happy about it. And I'm sure he won't be the last one to come out and talk about this. There are more and more politicians at the federal level now getting involved in discussions around the future of college sports. And to be honest with you, they need to be because it's out of control. But let's stay on track here. The Power 4 commissioners, according to this article, the Power 4 commissioners have started to meet and discuss this expanded college football playoff. And the meetings have produced disagreement over the number of automatic qualifiers. Back in the spring, the Big Ten kind of started this by asking for 3 automatic qualifiers every year from them and the SEC. That would go along with 2 automatic qualifiers from the ACC, 2 from the Big 12, 1 G5, and then the rest would be at-larges. And at that time, it was a 14-team model. Well, they have now more recently come back, which we've already heard about this, but they've recently come back and asked for 4 automatic qualifiers. They got pushback on the 3, so now they're asking for 4. That's a perfect example of them throwing their weight around. They're like, by gosh, you don't want to give us what we asked for? Then we're going to ask for even more. We're going to demand more because we can, because we're the big bully on the block. That's what they seem like in these situations. Well, the ACC and the Big 12 apparently are not taking this lying down, and they're saying, listen, if you're going to give you 4, if you want 4, then we want 3 automatic qualifiers. And that's what the Big 12 and ACC apparently are asking for. Now, Brett Yormark would not comment to Ross Dellinger on this article, but he was able to get some comments from from ACC coaches, some ADs under the condition of anonymity. because the ACC this week has been having their spring meetings and they've been discussing these things. And some of the coaches have been pretty open about what's going or how they feel. You know, coaches really don't feel like there should be automatic qualifiers. They think everything should be earned. But like the coach Doran at NC State mentioned, you know, if they're going to get 4, then we need to get 3. We need to be respected. The ACC needs respect. And I think the same would go for the Big 12. Now, according to this article, the Big 12 and ACC is expected to propose alternative formats, some of which may include a third automatic qualifier for their respective conferences, even if those AQs, those automatic qualifiers, hinge on the committee's rankings. So maybe if you have 3 Big 12 teams, they've already agreed to give them 2 AQs. So if the Big 12 and ACC get 2 AQs and they get a third team in that top 16, then they get 3 AQs. Maybe that's kind of where we're leaning here. We'll find, I'm sure there'll be more details coming out in the coming weeks. But it looks like the Big 12 and ACC are pushing back, trying to get more of their teams. If you're going to do automatic qualifiers, then by gosh, we deserve more than 2 teams in it if you're getting 4. You're already making more money than us from a TV deal perspective. You already have more decision-making authority when it comes to the college football playoff. You have more of the revenue from the college football playoff. And now you want to give yourself double the automatic qualifiers? I'm glad the ACC and the Big 12 are pushing back on this. They need to be. And heck, the G5s too. Now, according to the report, the Big Ten and SEC may not want to remove the 3 at-large bids that would go along with this. It would be a 4-4, 3-3, 1-3 model is what we would be looking at. Or I'd say it'd be a 4-4, 3-3, 1-1 actually. It would be 4 from the SEC, 4 from the Big Ten, 3 from the ACC, 3 from the Big 12, 1 G5, and then if Notre Dame's ranked in the top 16, they get in. If not, then it would be one at-large from whoever the committee chooses. The SEC and the Big Ten, they want their cake and eat it too. They want to get 5 teams in if they can. So they don't want to get rid of those 3 at-larges in favor of giving Notre Dame likely that last spot. They're okay giving they've agreed to give Notre Dame 1 spot, but they don't want to miss out on the other 2 spots. I want to give a shout out right now to a channel sponsor, Elite Scuba and Adventures. Right now, go to elitescubaadventures.com and check them out. They're also found on social media. But you can check them out for PADI Discover Diving, open water certifications, advanced diver and specialty courses, including a dive master certification. They do bundle and save deals. They offer discounts to first responders and vets. Also, even if you're not a first responder or a vet, if you use Couz 5, it's Couz, COUZ 25 at checkout, you will also get 5% discount just for hearing it right here on Couz's Corner. So go to Elite Scuba Adventures today, at elitescubaadventures.com today, if you're interested in scuba diving, whether you're learning about scuba diving or doing a cool scuba trip to somewhere like Thailand or maybe Key West, somewhere cool like that. Here's the thing about it, though. It's not just the Big 12 and ACC pushing back on this. No, according to this report, Notre Dame's AD has spoken out about this proposal in private meetings. Now, he would not comment to Dellinger on their article. Pete Bavacqua is the Notre Dame AD. There was no comment from him in this article, but according to Brett's to Ross's sources, he has said in private meetings he's against this scenario. Even though his team's protected, he's against it. A, because he might think they're trying to force his team into a conference. And B, maybe he just doesn't feel like it's what's best for college football. You know, I don't know. But here's a quote from the article that I find very interesting here. It says, the political pressure and public backlash on leaders in the Big Ten and SEC may be mounting. Boyle's tweet, which I mentioned earlier in the show, one of the first public criticisms from a congressional lawmaker, is unlikely to be the last. In fact, Cody Campbell, the leader of a newly minted and yet to be announced presidential commission, is a Big 12 supporter and sits on the league's alumni council. The billionaire businessman is the chair of the Texas Tech Board of Regents, is a friend to Yormark, that's Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, and here's the fun part, and has a direct line to President Donald Trump. Now, some of you, a lot of people, I said President Trump's name. Some of you are already mad at me, all for reading his name in an article that I didn't even write. But the point here is Cody Campbell, who's a Big 12 supporter, has a direct line to the most powerful person in America, the President of the United States. I don't care what his name is. That matters. That he has the president's ear. Cody Campbell's put out a lot of op-eds, a lot of pieces in the Federalist papers, the Federalist paper, about the changes he thinks that need to occur in college sports because of the road they're going down here, the chaos that's ensuing with NIL, the transfer portal, and whatnot. Cody Campbell has been very outspoken about it. And someone like him is not going to take this lying down. He's not just going to let the conference he's a part of, he supports, the school he's on a board of, get screwed here. He's not going to take it lying down. Will he win? I don't know. But Cody Campbell apparently has a very loud voice and a very powerful voice. And he's connected to the right people, apparently. Or at least some power. Maybe not the right people, but some powerful people. Will it help? We'll see. At the end of the day, I think this could actually be a good thing. Yes, the Big 12's pushing back, the SEC, ACC's pushing back, and maybe they can get what they want. Maybe they can get 3 automatic qualifiers. That would be absolutely awesome for the Big 12. Because think about it. How often would the Big 12 get 3 teams in the current format, based strictly on the committee's rankings? They'd be lucky. They might get 2 most years, or some, I don't even know if most years. They might get 1 every year, 2 some years, but would probably hardly ever get 3. This way you would be guaranteed at least 2 with the option of getting a 3rd AQ in. I think that's a great move for the Big 12. And what I don't understand is why in the world would Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti be against this? You're getting what you want. You're getting 4 teams in. Why do you care that the Big 12 gets 3? Why do you have to always get more and more and more and more and more than everybody else when you already have a massive advantage? And I don't want to hear the crap about the house settlement. You're going to be able to afford to pay off the house settlement because you already have more money than everybody else. So don't give me that baloney. I see no reason why the SEC and Big Ten should not approve of the Big 12 and ACC getting 3 teams in. As long as they're getting their 4, they should be happy because it opens up the opportunity for them to do their conference play-in games that they want to do at the end of the year. It gives them the opportunity to play more non-conference games against each other like they've been wanting to do. All you have to do is throw a bone to the ACC and the Big 12, and you don't want to do that either. You can't throw them one freaking bone. If I'm the Big 12 and the ACC, I'm fighting as hard as I can fight on this. I'm not giving an inch because if you do, you've already given too much by giving them the power that they have and the ability to make the decisions of the college football playoff formatting. And yes, maybe pushing too hard could end up hurting you in the future because you might end up getting less. But at some point, what do you do with a bully? You've got to fight back. You've got to take up for yourself. That's what the Big 12 and the ACC and even the G5s here need to do. You have to take up for yourself. Stop letting the bully you. Punch that bully in the mouth one time, they'll stop bullying you. So, let's see how things play out. But I think getting 3 teams in will be an absolute home run scenario for the Big 12. Might be the best case scenario for the Big 12 because it looks like the SEC and Big 10 are going to get 4 teams in. They're going to figure out how to get 4 automatic qualifiers in. So hopefully the Big 12 and ACC can get 3. But we'll see how it plays out in the end. It'll be interesting to follow this story. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Let me know what you think. Do you think the Big 12 should continue to push back on this and the ACC too? Or do you think they should bow to the SEC and the Big Ten and just give them what they want to try to not upset the apple cart and go ahead and take your 2 AQs and be happy with it. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I want to give a quick shout out to my channel sponsors here, Appalachia Digital, the fine folks who designed my brand new website at wvsportschat.com. Please go check them out. Let them know Couz sent you. Go to appalachiadigital.com/Couz. If you want to start a brand new website, or if you want to grow your current site and help it get found more on Google, those are the people you need to talk to. Also, another shout out to Katz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner, your personal injury and medical malpractice attorneys in the state of West Virginia. They are also licensed in Virginia. And then obviously the fine folks over at Elite Scuba Adventures. Elite Scuba Adventures. Go to elitescubaadventures.com. Check them out today. They are the home of your scuba diving desires and needs. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Hope the rest of your day's top shelf and Q Country Roads.